Hey guys, what's going on? King Sway here. As usual. This one, this RPG horror story. This is XGM drives new GM. I said GM, I meant DM. XDM drives new DM to tears. So we're going to jump right into this one. Let's go. So I'm a member of a neurodivergent D&D group, and we are currently in the middle of a big spat between a DM and the player right now. In case this is useful, the DM, ASD, which is in a spectrum of autism, ADHD, and post-traumatic stress disorder, and chronically ill with a lot of pain, also non-binary. The problem player, ASD, which again, autism as well, ADHD, claims they don't affect him, that he's high functioning, he can deal with things. Said player refuses to listen to any of the DM's rules. Not only that, he is constantly bragging about his own other campaigns and that it's so much better than ours. He even told the DM that we weren't good enough to DM our own campaigns. That's too wild for me. This is me speaking. I can't believe what I just read. And should instead DM one off he made. This was after their first ever DM session. A few mistakes were bound to happen, and even then the rest of us had no idea what he was talking about. From there, he's gotten worse. He's super aggressive with the whole party except his best friend, who is also a bit of an issue, but that's another story for another day. He killed nearly half our party with an AoE attack. Really? Dick move, bruh. Sorry. In an encounter before blaming it on his best friend who wasn't even there. He said that he couldn't care less about the other people and their characters and if they die. He has told our amazing note taker that her notes are useless. Another dick move. And he barely ever shows up to sessions. In yesterday's session, he killed his best friend's character while controlling them for him. Really? Who allowed that? The DM has tried telling him multiple times that this is a serious campaign, and every time he goes on a tangent about how he doesn't like jokes in campaigns. He's totally into roleplay heavy and serious campaigns and yada yada yada. He's a complete control freak, telling other people to switch out their spells for one he thinks is better and often tries to override the DM. And he just thinks he's the DM now instead. Really, dude? Seriously? Serious for sure? On to the crying bit. So the DM is told multiple times to follow the rules and stop, and he always ignores them, right? Well, last session the DM implemented a 1-minute turn rule because he and his friend take forever to do their turns. They asked him what he thought because he has a DM before here and there, and our DM is still very new. He went on a rant about how, unlike him and his friends, our team has no synergy. They never plan ahead. They aren't smart enough for a shorter timer. Neurodivergent party, remember that, etc. He had not been able to do a single session in 2 months. DM told him he was wrong, and he sent a whole paragraph about how they have no authority over him and he can't tell him what to do. Sorry, bud, they're the DM. Well, our DM called us crying about how they just called and can't take him anymore. They were currently on bed rest for some really bad stomach issues, and dealing with our problem player was just the last straw for him. Them, rather. Let me correct myself and say them. I don't know whether DMs are him or them or her, so we say them. One of us called him out the next day. He refused to apologize, saying that he was entitled to his opinion, and also lashed out when my friend corrected him for misgendering our DM. I do have photos, by the way, if anyone wants them too. Did I mention that he and the DM dated? Thank God they got out of that situation pretty quick. Okay, yeah, I just remembered that the DM classified themselves as non-binary, and I don't even remember that in the beginning, and now I say that I said them instead of he or she because I don't remember whether or not they were he or she, but yeah, we're going to move on from that. I'm going to say the same thing about problem players that I normally say. Confront them. Let them know this is why we're having a problem with you. If they don't change, boot them. I don't know a simpler way to deal with the subject. uh, the person's being a problem player. They're having that guy complex, and what it makes me come to is like when you're on a scene and you're trying to pick somebody up, and you got a guy that's a one-upper. The problem player reminds me of a one-upper. Whatever story you got, they got one that's similar, but it's better than yours, some kind of how. Like all of a sudden they've gone through all the same experiences, but theirs is better or more traumatic or something to that degree. That's what the problem player reminds me of. But with everything, like I said, I'm going to keep it simple. Confront the person with what's going on. Look, this is why we're having problems. I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for the group. If you don't believe me, we can take this so that the entirety of the group is present and talk this out. But these are the problems we're having. Can you please change them? Look, nobody likes to be told that they're wrong or anything to that degree. That's just people in general. Give them some time. Let it sink in, and if it doesn't, like I said, boot them, because you're trying to address the problem. You're trying to make it fun for everybody, not just that one individual. And if they're not trying to hear what you have to say, that's on them. I don't know what else to say. That's on them. But that's the end of that story. If you're new to the channel, think about liking and subscribing. If you're not new to the channel, think about liking and subscribing. This is a simple click for you, but for me it's monumental because it helps me get my material out there to other people that may like the stories that I'm telling. Leave a comment below if you agree with what I'm saying. Leave a comment below if you don't agree with what I'm saying. But anyway, I'll catch you guys later. I'm King Sway, and I will see you guys in the next one. Holla.